May I request Harry, Nardos, Stephen, Geoffrey, and Sandra to get up to the stage. As we get ready for this panel discussion on the roadmap for synthetic biology Africa, I'd like to take this opportunity once again to welcome our panel discussants. I think this is a diverse group. We have Ethiopia, we have the US, we have Ghana here. So I'm really excited to be the moderator for this panel discussion. And let's just jump right in. I introduced some of these speakers earlier on. We have Nardos. I'll start with the far right, Nardos. We have Geoffrey Otim. We have Sandra, who has just been speaking. And then to my left, I have Harry and Stephen Opiyo. So we'll just start this off quick. I hope everyone is excited for this one, because this is where we're going to see what we need and what we need to get there. So the first question will be, what is this roadmap for synthetic biology in Africa, and why do you think we need it? So this is open up to all the panel discussants. I will start with Stephen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that questions. Sandra just talked about that we are aspiring to start Center of Excellence. To start Center of Excellence, you need a roadmap. And what's a roadmap? A roadmap is basically a strategy that's going to guide us. Basically, it's a communication tool. And why do we need it? We need it because without a roadmap, we will be lost. We need a strategy to guide you so that we can work with that Center of Excellence.
Great. Harry?
So I think I want to add that as a green community that is trying to embrace new technology, it's very important that we craft context-specific strategy that would inform how we are able to make good use of such a technology to our benefit. And so for me, I think that is why we need such a roadmap to guide us on how we can actualize these things.
That's great. Let's hear from Geoffrey.
Yes, thank you so much. A lot has been shared here. So I'm giving my perspective of what we mean by having a roadmap. So in every endeavors that you want to venture in, you should have something that can guide you towards achieving what you want to achieve. And sometimes we have mind mapping. So you have to have something in your mind to guide you so that you don't miss any step when you want to achieve something. So that is the same thing that we are applying as Synbio Africa. We want to put everything in step so that we, achieve them one by one. And having, bringing all these gathering together is the first step that we want, to create this diversity and a network across Africa so that whatever we want to, to achieve as Synbio Africa is already well planned. So that is what we mean by having a roadmap. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Geoffrey. Now, Geoffrey, you've talked about having a step-by-step plan. So my next question will be, who do you think are the stakeholders who should be involved in this roadmap for synthetic biology in Africa? I'll just start this off with my neighbor here, Sandra.
Thank you so much. As I had just talked about, the different people who play the role in synthetic biology, particularly we'll need the government, and by the government, there is support in terms of establishment of the regulation that we're talking about, because without the regulation, we cannot do so much. And then we would need academia, the different researchers at the universities would have to play a role in this. We would need the different people in the industry, the people who are actually, doing the work and producing some of the products of synthetic biology onto the market. And then we'll definitely need the different researchers who would also have to play a role in this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Harry, do you have anything more to add onto this? Who do you think would be the best stakeholders to be involved in this roadmap?
Okay, so I think from my perspective, I want to look at it from the research that was presented by the ambassadors, where we have quite a large chunk of youth saying that we need to actively engage in research. So I see that that group of people actually see the real benefit.
Everything starts from the grassroots. I think the first thing that we have probably been doing is, discussion, public perception about technology, it's very negative. So the first step is for us to get down with the right information to the public down there, so that they can, be supportive of whatever program that we have as Synbio Africa. So public, to me, I think public is one of the key stakeholders in whatever programs that we are going to come up with. So in that same regards, giving the right information to our policymakers. Some of our politicians may not have background in science or technology, so it is our responsibility as scientists, to give them the right information so that they can make the appropriate decision. Like we have the bill already has been, pushed back 3 times. So I think we scientists are the ones to, push for this, give the right information, and see how best our voices can reach to the higher level delegation that always, decide on the policy issues. So to me, that's what I can say about the stakeholders and the requirements we have to put in place so that we make this a success. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And as communicated earlier on when I was introducing the session, we are planning on establishing this Synthetic Biology Center of Excellence by 2024. That's just 3 years away, I believe. And after listening to the different challenges that have been explained in the ambassador's presentation earlier on, we are seeing where we are at right now and what more we have to do in order to achieve our goal of this Synthetic Biology Center of Excellence. So you shall allow me at this moment get questions. Anyone with questions in the crowd here in person, just raise your hand and my co-MC will pass on the microphone. Anyone with questions on the synthetic biology roadmap in Africa? And also to those online, you can just send in your questions in the comment section. Let's just have 5 minutes for that and we shall move. I see a hand there. 2 hands, 3 hands. So let's get 3 questions from the in-person conference. So just a short introduction of yourself and your question.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Mary Nantongo, and I work with PRESIDE, the Presidential Scientific Initiative on Epidemics, as well as the STI, Office of the President. Now, mine is not a question, but it's just how I look at how synthetic Synbio hopes to be, or what it intends to be. And you've mentioned about stakeholders. I'm looking at Synbio as a new area for us to leverage. And I'm seeing if we took it on as, we have what we call a value chain model. It begins with, this is going to help you or to guide you on what stakeholders are involved in where you hope to be. So I look at basic research. As you know, universities do not have such programs. We need to see that we have where to capture basic research from, and there you will engage universities, and this will link you up with the National Council for Higher Education in Uganda. You need to engage the Ministry of Education, then also Ministry of Health. Then from basic research, you need to know how do you go to the next step, which is product development. You need to, you've talked about all that you mentioned, what products you intend to come up with. So think through, as you develop your products, who are the stakeholders? Where are you getting the raw materials and so on and so forth? What technology, what skills, what are those skills that you need? What equipment do you need? Then you will go to the next step, which will be product manufacturing. You will be able to come up with your products, and then you need to be able to commercialize the products, both locally and also internationally. And what do you need? You need to engage the private sectors, you need to engage the government, some government agencies and so on and so forth. But then above all, you need to think about consumer confidence. The products that you're coming with, how is the society able to, do they even know what it is all about? So you need to think about that, and then it will guide you on what stakeholders and what else you need to incorporate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think we have taken note of that, dear panelists. Let's have the next question. It was around, there was a hand around there. There, yes.
Okay, hello everyone. I think I'll introduce myself again. My name is Kelezo. I'm from Botswana. I'm here as a fellow and also an ambassador for Southern Africa Network for Biosciences. Mine is a question to what Sandra talked about. She talked about multidisciplinary training for researchers. And my question is, for people involved in, which is my interest because I belong to a research group that worked with enzymes and proteins. My question is on the multidisciplinary training in order to be able to commercialize the products that we work with, for example, enzymes. Which courses do you think will be a great addition to the science courses that researchers are already involved in? Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's have a third and final question.
Thank you so much, the panelists. I'm called Baluk Erikan. And my question is about, as we are trying to drive a roadmap for Synbio Africa, as a person who has passed through university, I think there is a need to evolve the young generations coming up from secondary up to university. So, majorly what I'm trying to ask is how best is Synbio Africa preparing to engage the young generation, the students from low levels, so that they can be able to come up with this knowledge up to higher institutions of learning, which can be able to build a good capacity. So I'm trying to ask majorly, what plans do Synbio Africa have to make sure they bring up a strong generation in the field of synthetic biology? Thank you.
Thank you, Erican. We had lost we had lost the online community earlier on, but we are now at the point whereby we're asking for we've opened up the floor in case you have any questions towards the roadmap for synthetic biology in Africa. You can just leave it in the chat box. I think I'll take this opportunity. Do we have anyone else, Ian? Okay, just one last question, and then we get to our panelists now.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Albert Kure. I am from Nigeria. I have more of an observation or advice as opposed to a question, and it's around the fact that Geoffrey had mentioned the need for communicating science to policymakers, but I've learned from experience that takes a lag time to execute, because then there's the communication, there's the educating part of it, as well as them adopting what you have taught them enough to apply it. So I think what I would want to advise is, how do we best push for representation of scientists within the policy space? So right now there's a lot of attention towards science diplomacy, there's a lot of push for step policy making and all of that, and I think that saves us that lag time of having to convey science to policymakers when there is a scientist present at the table when those conversations are being had. So I just think it's a call to all of us present, for those who are scientists, to just ensure that we try to bridge that gap and exist within those spheres where those decisions are being taken, just so that there's representation and the conversation is carried from a perspective that makes sense to both the science community as well as the people in the public. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Albert Kure. And from online, we have a question from Matovu Brian. Can we form research groups which are international to feed into the subspecialties of synthetic biology? So now the floor is open to us panelists. Let's tackle any question as you see fit. Let's start off, I think.
Okay, thank you for the questions that has come. I want to applaud you for those wonderful questions and the comments from you. We have noted, we are many on the panel here, so I'm going to take one question from Erikan. I like the bright question that you have brought. So it will bring me to giving you the background of how all these gatherings started from. So it started from a fellowship like you. I also attended a fellowship like you, and then I got information about IGM. I think we are going to have a session about IGM. It is a synthetic biology competition that takes place in Boston, US. So on that same note, I came back and we started as IGM team, a science club at Makerere University, and it's still the trend from IGM team of Makerere University, which was aimed at trying to promote this synthetic biology. Now it came, we started Synbio Uganda, but the interest started coming from across Uganda. Then that's when we came to Synbio Africa. So to answer Erikan, we are not going to forget our background. We started as a student team, and still we still believe that engaging youth or the students is the best way we can approach this. So our plan is also to support IGM team, from Uganda and from across Africa. So we want to focus on trying to increase the number of student teams from Africa, because at the moment we have a very low participation in that very important competition that is aimed at promoting synthetic biology. So one of our objectives as Synbio Africa is to support IGM competition in Africa, so that we also have many teams representing at the IGM Jamboree. And on that note, even in this conference, we have sponsored a few of the IGM ambassadors and those who have participated in the IGM. They will also have a session to share with you their experience and how they can come on board to support this great initiative of empowering the youth, the students, to embrace this new science. And on that note also, since we started from Makerere University, there is a plan to start the first master's track in synthetic biology at Makerere University. I've been engaging with one of the professors at the College of Vet, where all these things started from. So I think they are soon reviewing their curriculum. So we hope that in that review, they are going to now officially incorporate a track on synthetic biology at Makerere University. That would be the first step in trying to promote this to the youth and to the students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geoffrey. So I'll just take a response from Harry, Stephen.
Let me add on to
Stephen first, then Harry, then we'll get on to Sandra.
Let me add on to what Geoffrey talked about on the question that Eric can ask. What we talked about educational institution as part of the collaborators, we are going to collaborate with high school, technical colleges, teachers colleges too. So for example, with high school, we are going to create like seminars or workshops, go and talk to them about synthetic biology from when they're still in high school. So we're going to start from there, before even they come to universities. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I was just going to quickly address the question of what is the best cost fit to enable bioentrepreneurship. I want to first off start by saying that we need to decolonize our mindsets of the view that we need to have a cast in stone program for enabling how we need to study, and then that is informing how we enable products transitioning from research to market. Obviously, I think one of the things we need to start looking at is the fact that we should embrace what is called lifelong learning, where you identify a need of a particular knowledge, look out for ways for seeking that, and then using it in what you need to do. And I think once we embrace such an approach, it helps us to get what we need in order to achieve the things that we want to see happen. So because one of the things that we see happen right now, and that is lagging in the bioscience, is that we do not have programs that enable or teach people the business of doing science, right? And if you're going to wait and say that we should have new curriculums crafted, I mean, you and I can attest to the fact that the curriculums that were used in training scientists in the 19th century is still that it's the same curriculum that is used in training scientists today. It will take quite a long time to overhaul that system of training scientists to bring in new ones on board that embraces more of the connect between the biosciences and business and somehow entrepreneurship. So the way to overcome that challenge is by identifying the need for entrepreneurship as the one who is going to use it, and then seeking out for that. I think that we would better position ourselves to translating science ideas or research to market. I think for me, that is one way of overcoming that challenge. Secondly, we have seen the upspring of innovation spaces that is trying to gather young people where they serve as a peer-to-peer learning environment. So where you are lacking in a particular area, you have somebody who is next door to you that can provide you with that knowledge and help you to springboard whatever you are doing. So I think we have seen that happen in software, and I think it's over time we need to embrace that as biologists into our environment, our work, our labs, and then that way we are going to see a lot of things happen. And I think for me, that is how we should remodel our learning to achieve the things we want to see.
Thank you. So we shall just finalize this session with Sandra's remarks.
No, really, maybe to add on what Harry just said, I have one particular field which I really believe as scientists we've always done so badly, and it has always made our work never to be heard. Sometimes we are doing just so much but we are the only ones who know about it, and that is communication. If only we could know how best to communicate our work without thinking that we need to pass it on to, so many people before it can get out there, I think we will be in a better place. And with communication, I'm not talking about the publication of papers where the people, like only your circles, will understand what you're talking about. How can you be able to communicate your work that the person who has his money that can be able to support you move forward with your work can understand what you're talking about? So I think that is one of the very, very critical areas that we need to look at as scientists. And we are privileged that I believe in this room we have like different like people coming from different fields and all that. So we can see how to, better our skills, see how we can get to improve ourselves in this area. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sandra, for that enlightening talk. Well, I believe we now know where we stand and what we need to do. So let's use this next session coming up to talk more about that. And we shall see you back at 1 after the lunch we're going to have in a few minutes. Thank you so much, my panelists. You guys have been great. I hope they've been great. We shall see you after lunch. Thank you.